Let me quickly talk to you about how to get a business loan to fund your Amazon DSP franchise. So, of course, we're speaking about Amazon delivery business. Don't go anywhere. You're going to love the information in today's show. I guarantee it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sort of Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as splendid as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. What's on the table today? We have a wonderful topic: Amazon delivery business. How to get a business loan to fund your Amazon DSP franchise. Now, I assume you already got approved for the DSP program. We have actually covered how to get approved on another show, so you might want to double check that. But one thing I just want to say here is that for the Amazon DSP program, you got to have at least $10,000 to kick off the program. They want you to have an additional 30,000, and how much you can make. We're showing this to you on the screen. Actually, according to Amazon, you can make somewhere between 75,000 all the way to $300,000. Okay, so the potential is there. And to actually qualify for the DSP program, and I'm just doing a quick recap for those who haven't watched the video yet. You need to know Amazon's conditions, very important, what they're looking for, their requirements. You also need to think about how Amazon will actually interrelate with your existing business. They want you to have a fleet of 20 to 40 vans. This is very important. And you also need to have about 100 employees and the goal here is to deliver packages 24/7. Okay, and one thing you also need to pay attention to is that you need to Amazon has a very strict service level agreement. It's not really strict, it's just very thorough. And we're showing this to you on the screen right now. There's something called responsibility sharing. You want to pay attention to that. If you get some time, please go ahead and read that, because this will actually impact not only your business lending process, but also your DSP business as a whole. Okay, and you also want to pay attention to the application process. Again, I'm just speaking to you right now for those who have no idea about the process, and also remind the process very quickly to those who have already passed it. So you need to fill out the application. Showing this to you on the screen right now, the link. And then you have to put the basic application. Asks for a straightforward information: name, address, email, preferred locations. And they also want to give you, they want to ask you more information about where you would like your store to be located. So once you apply, you need to pass the Amazon interview. You need to get formal training from Amazon. You need to start your Amazon delivery business once you have everything ready. Okay. So that was an overview. That was the analytical foundation for today's conversation, because the assumption is that you have already qualified. You have already been admitted into the DSP program. So once you are in the program, how do you get a business loan to fund your Amazon DSP franchise? It's easier than you could imagine. First thing first, you need to get your act together. Very important. Okay, you need to get your act together. I don't care how much experience you have. You need to get your act together. So we're speaking about what? Getting an EIN. You need to structure your business. It has to be, you want to segregate your business from your personal affairs, right? I mean, Amazon is a big business. We're talking about a multinational here. So you want to have things legally, okay? You want to have an LP, LC, C corporation, S corporation, depending upon the founders and your own vision for the business, all right? And you also need to understand that you want to pay attention to things like franchise agreements, business licenses, and registrations. We're showing this to you on the screen right now. Actually, there is a great checklist that you might want to think about. And this is published by the SBA Loan Program for Small Businesses. And it's a great checklist because it tells you what kind of information a business lender will look at. Okay, so important business loan requirements range from the borrower information form, the personal background and financial statement, business financial statements. So everything from profit and loss to cash flow statements to balance sheets to statement of stockholders' equity. So they want you to perform also a reconciliation of net worth, interim balance sheet, and so on and so forth. They want to have a business certificate, licenses, loan application history, income tax returns at the personal level. They want to have resumes of all the founders. If this is a single member LLC, then you're pretty cool, right? So you just need to put your resume, and you need to kind of have a short overview of the business and operational history, business leads, and so on and so forth. Now, if I were you, the best advice I would give you is to have a business plan. Okay, because having a business plan will actually qualify you. They actually will respond to all the criteria I just listed. Things like operational history, things like financial statements, things like sales, all that kind of stuff. A detailed debt schedule. All these things, balance sheets, cash flows, statements, P&L, all these elements are part of a compelling business plan. So you want to have a business plan. This is very, very important. So when I say get your act together, I mean you need to operate as a business. You need to have the general criteria of a normal business, and you got to have a business plan. Step number 2, folks, you need to evaluate your funding needs. Very important, because if you are a DSP owner, you got to have an idea, a clear idea, that is, of what kind of money, what kind of funds you need, how much you need. As I told you earlier, Amazon estimates that you need to have $10,000 in initial startup cost and 30 grand in terms of ongoing cost, right? So that's 40 grand right there. Do you have them? If you have the money, that's fine. But even if you have the money, you might want to borrow, because that money could be put for better use. You can use the cash for expansion. You can use the cash to hire people. You can use the cash for a lot of things. Okay, and so when we talk about Amazon DSP funding needs, maybe you need more than 40 grand. Maybe you need 50 grand, 70 grand, 100 grand. What do I know? It's all about your needs. All right. So I want you to picture two things. You got to picture startup cost and ongoing operational cost. And this is where the money is going to be used for. So for startup costs, we're talking about business entity formation and licensing, professional services, accounting costs and lawyer fees, setup supplies, laptop, timekeeping software, recruiting costs, job posting, drug and background checks, driver training, and travel to Amazon training, that is. And then you have ongoing operational costs. So you have things like employee cost, right? Wages, payroll taxes, benefits, insurance, ongoing training. You have vehicle cost, delivery vehicle leases, routine maintenance, damages, insurance, other asset cost, devices, device accessories, uniforms. And then you have administrative costs. The admin costs are kind of important. You have to pay attention to that, because if you mess up there, you might actually invite regulatory inquiry, an adverse regulatory decision. You don't want that. So things like job posting, drug and background checks. There are some mandatory posters you need to put at work, depending on the state you live in. Very important. Professional services also are part of the ongoing operational cost. What am I trying to say here? I'm trying to say that Amazon wants you to operate in a certain way, because this is a big company. They have thought about a foundation for DSP success, and they want you to succeed, but they want you to follow their instructions. And with Amazon, you have access to exclusive deals. So Amazon branded vans will be customized for delivery, vehicle maintenance and insurance, fuel program, Department of Transportation compliance services. All these things I'm telling you, Amazon has negotiated with third parties to give you a great deal, but you still need to get the money to finance those service level agreements, right? So this is why you need to you got to take all these things into account when you evaluate your funding needs. Very important. Did you hear that? When you evaluate, when you estimate your funding needs. Step number 3, I want you to know the different DSP business loan options. So when we speak about DSP, Amazon DSP business loan options, there is a wide constellation of loans available out there. Okay. And so we're talking about what? We're talking about SBA loans. Yeah. SBA loans can be used for your DSP business, depending upon the setup, depending upon the needs you have, right? You also have short-term loans. You have lenders who actually will lend to DSP owners in the country. So the short-term loans will actually range from $5,000 to 250,000. So 5,000 to $250,000. You have long-term business loans. So those will go all the way to $1,000,000, and they are often fully repaid over several years. You also have bad credit loans, and even if you are an Amazon DSP owner and you have bad credit, you can still qualify. Why? Because here we are speaking about an EIN only business loan. Okay, if you want to play in the same league as Amazon as a DSP owner, as a DSP franchise owner, you got to take care of the EIN version of your company. In other words, you need to establish business credit, so that all the credit information is pulled from your business instead of your personal credit. You also have, in some cases, secure loans. So as a business owner, you might have some secure loans. Those are what? For example, if you have equipment financing, the right word for secure loans is asset-based loans. So equipment financing, for example, that's a great example. You also have unsecured loans. You also have merchant cash advances. Those kind of loans are available. Merchant cash advances are what I call business payday loans. And those are also available for DSP owners. Yeah. You also have equipment financing. I just spoke about that. You have also invoice factoring. So what is invoice factoring? Not to be confused with accounts receivable factoring. But that's another debate. I'm not going to get too much into detail here. But just know that invoice factoring is a process whereby your company sells its invoice to a factoring company for cash. So you're able to maintain cash flow for your business. So the factoring company gets paid once your customer pays their balance. Okay. Number 4, I want you to write a compelling business plan for your DSP. I was speaking earlier about the importance of a business plan. Now I'm going to dig a little deeper here. If you want to get a business loan to fund your Amazon DSP franchise, you need to write a compelling business plan. Now, guess what? Here is a secret that I want you to really pay attention to. I want you on the first page of a business plan. You know the very first page. You gotta put the Amazon DSP logo. In other words, you are a franchisee. So if you have the logo there, guess what? This is going to elevate the profile of your business plan. And every lender who's looking at it will be like, wow, okay, we're talking big leagues here. So this is a business that has been proven viable, because now you're not reinventing the wheel. You're not just you're not just trying to be a delivery business, a random delivery business. No, you are actually working against the fulcrum of a solid platform, and that is the Amazon DSP program. So because of that, lenders will have more interest, more appeal. Your business plan will have more appeal vis-a-vis the lenders. So you want to put the logo on the first page, but you also want to mention Amazon DSP throughout the business plan. What am I trying to say here? What am I trying to say? My friend, I want you to leverage, okay? I want you to pay attention to leverage the good name and reputation and appeal of Amazon as a global company to get the loan you need for your business. And obviously, a compelling business plan will have the cover page and table of content, right? An executive summary, the company description, market plans and analysis, organization and management, service or products, marketing and sales, financial analysis, and funding request. And then you can put whatever ancillary information you need in the appendix. Anyway, either way, I want you to really mention Amazon in the business plan. Very important. And in the appendix, you can put things like the principals, resumes, the tax returns, relevant real estate documents, processing flow charts, letters of intent to purchase from buyers, advertisement and marketing materials, relevant training certificates, sales forecast, personnel plan, profit and loss statement, balance sheet, and maybe some background information about the Amazon DSP business model in case the lender is not familiar with it. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Sweaty Kiwi Show. I'm still having a conversation with you today about how to get a business loan to fund your Amazon DSP franchise. And this is an important topic because the money, the monetary potential is there. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay, if you have 20 to 40 vans, you're able to actually make money. You're able to grow your business. You're able to take care of your family and make millions, literally, if you can cover a large enough geographical zone. Okay, so step number one, get your act together. Number two, you want to evaluate your funding needs. Number three, you want to know the different DSP business loan options. Number four, you want to write a compelling business plan for your DSP. Number five, I want you to talk to a local lender about DSP loans, right? And I'll tell you why. The thing here is that a lot of folks, a lot of DSP owners across the country, when they think about getting a loan to expand their business or to even start, like, because here we're talking about not just startup business loans, but also expansion business loans. If you need to scale your Amazon DSP business, a lot of, at least in our research, we have seen that a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of DSP owners, they tend to think automatically about online lenders because the whole myth, the whole idea is that if it's online, it's cheap. But guess what? You need to start talking to people around you, to lenders around you. Talk to your local bank. Talk to your local credit union, because those know you better. They see the veins. They see the car. They see the activity. They see what? They see a transformation. They see expansion. They see growth. They see movement, and movement brings money. So if you're able to convince them, you're able to have a conversation with the local lenders at the credit unions or at the local bank, they'll work with you. And the good thing here is that local banks and credit unions can be best for providing large business loans no matter what. Because what? They know you personally. They may know your business better than a large national bank would or an online alternative lender. They see transactions in your business and or personal account. Like I said, they see the veins. They see it's real. Like, this is not like just a business plan that's written out of thin air. No, this is real. They actually may have better rates and lower fees for you. For credit unions, for example, they have a corporate charter that compels them to lend to local and community businesses. All right. And you can have a streamlined, faster, and more local loan approval. Okay. And you can even have a chance to deliver an in-person pitch if that's what the lender is asking for. So talk to a local lender about DSP loans before resorting to online lenders or alternative lenders. Step number 6, folks. I want you to learn your DSP business lending options. What do I mean by that? For any loan, whether it is about a DSP business loan or a traditional loan, there are a few things you need to pay attention to. I was speaking to you earlier about knowing your funding requirements. This is important. You want to make sure you don't actually overspend, or you don't apply for such an amount that's too high, right? But here is what I want you to know. You got to be strategic, because every business loan application invites what? Hard pulls, either at the business level or the personal level, and sometimes at both levels. So if you're able to apply for more than you need, why not? In other words, you can use the extra cash to expand later on or to finance other parts of your growing business. So that's one option. You can apply for more than you need, or you can apply for less than you need if you know that very soon you will be able to generate enough cash to bridge all the chasms, all the gaps, all the liquidity gaps, the cash gaps you have in your business. So that's the whole idea. That's the strategy you need to think about. This is the tactic I want you to think about. This is the analytical journey I want you to have right now. And you also want to pay attention to the lender requirements. As I was telling you, there are several types of lenders. I'll speak about that later on, but there are several types of lenders. So you want to make sure that the lender you want to apply with, you know their requirements very well. You need to choose the right financial institution, because your Amazon DSP business is going to be around for a long time. So you want to have a solid footing in the community, and that solid fulcrum that I'm talking about, that fulcrum has to rest alongside a solid financial institution, at least a great relationship with that financial institution. And it's important to research your lending options so that you can find the best loan for your Amazon DSP business. So one thing you need to know is that traditional lenders, like banks, are stricter on their business loan requirements. Alternative lenders come in all shapes and sizes. Alternative lenders have fewer restrictions than traditional lenders. Okay, so it's something you need to pay attention to. At the end of the day, you have to make a decision that suits your business. Next, I want you to evaluate DSP business lenders. If you're trying to get a large business loan to fund your Amazon DSP franchise, again, we're talking here about 40 grand, 70 grand, 100,000, 200,000, a million. It depends on the size of your business. It's important to know to know the criteria upon which you can actually evaluate the DSP business lenders. And so what you want to do is you want to create a list of potential lenders. This is important because you'll need to research each lender to ensure you are qualified to apply for a loan with them, right? It's also important to make sure that they qualify for your business. This is a two-way business, right? In other words, you want to make sure that you qualify for their conditions, but that they also deserve your business. So you only want to list online, you want to list only qualified lenders. You can do the search online. I'm going to give you, don't worry, I'm going to give you a few names in this show, but you can go with any of them, or you can do your own research. It's up to you, your call. You want to list only qualified lenders, and you want to qualify the lenders based on business needs, on your DSP business needs. Okay, you need to understand lenders that some lenders have limits on how much they will lend, and I'm not speaking about only Amazon DSP. It depends on the lender. They don't really care about the company or the industry, even though based on our research, we've seen that lenders are more likely to fund an Amazon DSP franchise. Why? Because the business model has already been proven viable. So Amazon, as a multinational, as an e-commerce behemoth, has done the research already. So, the lenders is more like they are reassured that they are actually banking on something solid. Okay? You want to make sure you're qualified, and you want to consider alternatives also, and decide which lenders fit your circumstances. Circumstances can be the industry you're in, the geographic zone that you want to cover, what's the size of your fleet, because Amazon recommends 20 to 40 vans, and they want you to have a workforce of 100 employees, but maybe you want something lower or higher. You want a larger or a smaller fleet. So it's totally up to you. Step number 8, folks. So after you did all this kind of stuff, if you want to get a large business loan to fund your Amazon DSP franchise, you got to really shop around, folks. And this is serious business, because if you are going to borrow, say, $250,000 or $300,000, a decimal in the APR could mean hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars. In other words, what I'm trying to say here is if you get an APR of 7.4% versus 7.5%, that 0.1% is huge. Could be huge, depending on the loan, the principal that you end up getting, and the maturity dates. In other words, the term of the loan. So my point here is you have to pay attention to a few criteria, including interest rates, annual percentage rate, and fees. Those matter a lot. This trifecta, interest rate, APR, and fees, they matter a lot when applying for an Amazon DSP business loan. It's important to calculate the interest and terms with each lender so you can pick the lender that will offer you the best deal. Actually, there are many websites out there that have calculators, and all you have to do is just plug in the numbers, and you'll see who is more expensive, who is cheaper, and so on and so forth. And you can make a decision there. Please, don't pick a lender based on emotion. I was telling you earlier to talk to a local lender, but simply because you know the underwriting manager at the local credit union doesn't mean you have to take their loan if their loan is not competitive enough. So don't make decisions based on emotion here. We're speaking about serious business. You want to grow your Amazon business. I mean, the bank or the credit union in that hypothetical case is not going to make a decision based on emotion. So why would you make a decision based on emotion, right? So I want you to bring logic here. It's all about logic. You need to know the difference between APR and interest rates. you need to check the track record and the history, the operational history of the lender, whether they have financed other Amazon DSP businesses in the past. What is their preferred lending method? What is their repayment method? Because so, what I'm trying to say here is that besides the quantitative aspects of things, right, APR, interest rates, and the fees, you want to look at the qualitative, the non-numerical aspect of things like reputation. What is the report you have with this lender? What are the reviews that you have you can access online? So this is important when you shop around and you want to write everything down. Step number 9. So now that I promised I was going to give you a few lenders here. So we have 10 lenders that I'm going to quickly give you. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here because we have actually devoted an entire show to this topic. So when we speak about the best business lenders that can fund your Amazon DSP franchise, we have U.S. Business Funding. We have scored this 10 over 10. We have America First Credit Union, another great player here. Now, America First Credit Union is a credit union that you can easily qualify for. As you know, to get a business loan or a personal loan or a personal credit card or business credit card from a credit union, you got to be a member. But for America First Credit Union, it's very easy, very easy. And we have a Rapid Finance, and this is a great player also when it comes to Amazon DSP franchise loans. You have GTE Financial. They gave you loans up to $500,000. This is pretty good. So just want to quickly say that for if you go to U.S. Business Funding, they could fund from 50 grand all the way to $1 million. America First Credit Union, you have 10,000 to 1 million. Rapid Finance, you have funds all the way to $1 million, 5,000 to 1 million. GTE Financial, you have 25,000 to $500,000. Then you have Base to Credit, another great player also when it comes to financing your Amazon DSP business, and they can actually fund you all the way to $1 million. And then you have a P2B Investor. They actually will fund you from 50,000 all the way to 1 million. Then you have also here, you have Excel Capital. They will fund from 50 grand all the way to 1 million, even above 1 million. Then you have also here, you have a TD Bank, a traditional player who is very great at funding Amazon DSP franchises across the country. And they will fund you from 25,000 all the way to $500,000. And then you have IOU Financial, 50 grand to $1 million. And then you have also Cash Bloom, great player. They will fund you from 50,000 all the way to $1 million. And the good thing about all these 10 companies are that they understand the Amazon DSP franchise business model very, very, very well. And they will actually fund you more easily because, again, the business model has been proven. There's nothing else there's no way you're not reinventing the wheel. Okay, so this is good to know. So number 10, this is the last part here. If you want to get a business loan to fund your Amazon DSP franchise properly, you need to submit your DSP business loan application. So doing the research and all this kind of stuff is kind of cool. It's pretty cool, right? But once you have done all the research and you have gathered your paperwork, it's about time that you finally apply. Okay, you apply in earnest for the business loan. So I want you to gather your business credit documents. So you want to pull a copy of your business credit profiles, right? Again, we're speaking about EIN only. Amazon DSP franchise business loan. Okay, there's no interest in your personal loan, in your personal credit reports here. So you want to pull a copy of your business credit profiles. You want to review your business credit profiles to learn your credit scores and possibly spot any inaccuracy, any falsehood, and correct it. You want to fix your business credit if necessary, right? And again, throughout all this process, Amazon will support you. Amazon is there for you. They will work with you. They have negotiated great partnership agreements across the country for their franchisees, and they might even refer you to some professionals who can help you. For example, in writing a business plan, okay, in speaking in finding the loans that you need. Actually, as a matter of fact, you can reach out to Amazon to refer you the best lender. This could be a great opportunity also, because then you don't have to do the research yourself. You just want to tap into their network. So that's pretty cool. And one thing you want to do here is that, you want to submit the business loan application, but please, you want to respond to the lender, and you want to respond to the lender properly and promptly. If they ask you for any question, any extra documentation, you want to provide it. Sometimes they might ask you for some business docs, some business financials. They might actually want you to appear in person. Yeah, because traditional lenders and credit unions, for example, they usually require an in-person visit. They want to see you. They want to see the person behind the loan application. Alternative lenders and online lenders may require you to fax or email your application. And some lenders may prefer to do business through multiple mediums. It's all about what works for your lender. And please don't forget anything. So when finalizing your business loan application, you want to submit everything all at once and keep a copy. Very important. Keep a copy of all your documentation in case you have to resort to it later. All right, folks. This was it for today's conversation. I was speaking to you about how to get a business loan to fund your Amazon DSP franchise. We have spoken about an EIN only business loan to fund your Amazon DSP franchise. So first, you need to get your act together to evaluate your funding needs. Number 3, you need to know the different DSP business loan options. Number 4, you want to write an attractive business plan for your DSP. Number 5, you want to talk to a local lender about DSP loans. Number 6, you want to learn your DSP business lending options. Number 7, you want to evaluate DSP business lenders. Number 8, you want to shop around. Number 9, you want to choose the right business lender for your DSP. And number 10, last but not the least, you want to submit your DSP business loan application. Thank you so much for your attention, folks. I really appreciate it. I will speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.